Hi, I'm Andy Mack. I'm at Gear for Music Studios, and today we're going to go through the MPC X. Now, the MPC X is our flagship, and this unit really is the hub of your studio. You know, it gives you all the ins and outs that you need to really bring all your equipment together. So basically, MPC X gives you 8 outputs. So if you want to go into your API outboard, you can just route all of your outputs directly into like a summon mixer. We have 8 CV gates. So if you're using some of your modular racks, you can drive and use the MPC sequencer to drive all that equipment, which is great in a live or studio environment. We have multiple inputs as well. So you have mic pre's, we have high impedance guitar inputs as well. So you can actually record live instruments and vocals directly into the X. So with all those other ins and outs, we also have USB 3, so you can add any like external hub, you can add your hard drives, but you also have a SATA docking connection underneath. So if you want to put like a 2 terabyte of all your own samples, you can add that straight to the X. So you can always have your samples directly inside the hardware, which is fantastic. And then we have our USB connection that goes directly to the 2.0 software. So let's get into the features and really show you what the MPC X can do. So first thing you'll notice about the hardware compared to MPC Live, it has a much bigger screen. Now, the screen on this is 10.1, and it's the same technology, so it's a multi-touch screen, which gives you the ability to do some really cool things, and it's all multi-gesture as well. And so when you're editing drums or you're using the grid editor to really kind of refine all of your instruments and your notes, this really plays a big part in the studio because it allows you to really go into your production and your sequences and really fine-tune everything to your liking. So also we have on the left-hand side of the MPC X is this new OLED section. Now this is based from the Q-Links, but we've completely enhanced this to really give you an incredible experience. Now the OLEDs will follow you around the MPC X, so whatever parameter you're in, you're going to have visual feedback of what's going on. So at the moment I'm in my standard project mode, so I can see all of my fundamentals of what's going on my sequence. So I can see my BPM, my track, my volume, my master volume, my time correction, my swing, bar length, you know, all the things that I need to set up my sequence. But when I hit shift, I can now go into my global parameters. So now this is showing me everything that's possible inside the project. So I can control all of my different volumes. I can set these Q-Links to map how I want them to. Now I can go into program as well. And now I can set up how I want my drum programs to visualize on the Q-Links. So if there's certain parameters that I want, I can embed these into the Q-Links. But also with all the MPC expansion packs that we do, everything has factory defaults that you can access from the program mode. So everything will have like if it's a melodic sample, it will have a filter assigned to it. If it's drums, we tend to go for tuning and hi-hats, panning, etc., etc. Now, pad scene, this is great because this can be your like hot cue of everything that you want to do on your pads. So you can jump from program mode for having all your factory edits straight to pad scene where you could maybe have all the drum tuning. So if you like layering and tuning drums, you can instantly hit pad scene and that will always be available to you without having to reassign all the time. Then you go to pad parameters, and this is really great for when you want to do a lot of drum mixing. So what we can do, whatever pad or bank we're on, the Q-Links will always follow. So at the moment I'm seeing levels, I can just hit here and now I can go through pans, send returns, mutes, etc., just by one click. So I can always have access to my drums and the Q-Links are always updating. Now the great thing about the Q-Links as well, if I'm in 2.0 controller mode, this will auto update and show me all the readouts of my plugins. So if I'm using stuff like FabFilter, or I'm using some PSP or whatever, I will see all the visual readouts of my threshold, my ratios, my EQ, my curves, all from the OLEDs whenever I'm in control mode. So this is a great feature, a lot of feedback from the screen and from the OLEDs. So like I explained, MPC X is a standalone MPC piece of hardware, but it's also a controller. So what I'm going to do now, we're going to show you how you can kind of move projects between MPC X and 2.0 of MPC Software. So I'm now in 2.0 mode. It's very simple. We just hit menu and we go to the icon and we put the MPC into controller mode, which we've done on previous videos. So now I'm in control mode. What I will have here is I'll have a track that I've already got here. I can see all of my grids, what's going on my drums. There. So anything I want to do is obviously going to be mimicked by the software. Now, there's a new icon that's now in place on the hardware, which is plugins. So when I hit plugins, I will now have access to all of my third-party instruments. So if I want to add some third-party instruments to a project, I can do that inside 2.0. So I hit plugins, and now I can see my instruments that are available in my library. So I've selected one of the synths, and I can now see the preset that I'm using. Now that I've loaded my plugin, the OLEDs will now give me a visual feedback of all the parameters on the plugin. So if I want to control the filters, I want to basically control the pitch, the volumes of the oscillators, anything I want to do, it's now visually shown on here. So if I go, we can so everything's there, and you can customize these and actually reassign everything if you want. But this works with everything that we do. So any plugin that you pull up, you've instantly got those parameters there to work from. So now I'm going to record some MIDI information with the plugin, and then what we're going to do, we're going to move that into a standalone project from the computer. So it shows you how easy it is that we can use plugins and bring them into standalone mode. So I've got my sound here. I'm going to use pad performance mode, and I'm going to use my chromatic notes. It's in D flat major. And let's start the track, work out a melody. There's our notes. Now, you know, again, we can edit these notes, we can move them around on the screen, we can transpose them up and down. So that's really, really easy to do from the screen if you want to add, you know, more production around your progressions. So the really cool thing is now, how do we take this from plugin mode into standalone? So it's very, very simple. So I've got this plugin up, okay? And all I do, I hit edit and I hit bounce to audio track. And now my MIDI part has been muted. And now that part that I played is now an audio track. And I can edit this as I would do with normal audio. Bring it up. So you can change the pitch, we can bring it down, semitones, whatever you want to do. But it's very easy to take a plugin that you've used on a track, hit one button, bounces it down as audio, and now I save out that project and I bring it into standalone mode, and then I can go to another studio, I can travel, I can do whatever I want. And that procedure is identical on MPC Live. Now, again, if I want to add some effects onto that channel, I can also bounce everything down the same procedure just by adding some effects, hitting one button, and it mutes it, puts it onto an audio track. But other things that we can do, I can go to my MIDI, go to my drum track, and if I now go to menu, pad mixer, and I'm going to go to my inserts, I can go to some of my drums, so my clap here, and I can double click, and I'm going to go to some of my effects. So now I'm going to use my PSP, and we're going to go to reverb. So now I've got my reverb up. My OLEDs have updated, so now I've got access to the plugin, and you can see as I'm moving, my plugin is moving. Reverb type, decay, bring that down, and now add some more stuff over the track. I can go back to that audio part, and I'm just going to change the octaves that I changed. Go back. Put some note repeats down. And that gives you a very, very quick overview of MPC X and the sheer power that this piece of hardware really gives you in a standalone environment and when you're using it as a plugin with MPC 2.0. So to finish this off, I'm going to bring that project back in to standalone mode, and you can see how easy the process is. So all I do, I hit menu and I save out my project. So I'm going to go save all, and I save this, I name it G4.2, G4.1.2, do it. And I'm going to set a location of where I'm going to send my track. So I'm going to put it to my desktop. Now that's saved. I'm now going to boot down MPC and put it into standalone mode. Standalone. So now I'm in standalone mode, empty project. So now I go to menu. I don't need laptop anymore. That's finished with. Menu, browser. I go to places. I go to my USB. And now I look for my project, which is called G4.1.2 load. This will replace my existing project if I had one load in. It then tells me what plugins I was using. So press cancel, press instrument, cancel. And now let's play the project. Have all my MIDI parts, audio tracks, edit audio. So again, I can click on these, change these parts. Change that to 7-up, and then I can add some effects. Go into sync delay, edit, OLED will instantly update, insert 2, come out, double click, and I'm going to put big reverb. Again, I can go through all of my filters, all of my different parameters on my reverb. And now I'm going to bring my overall volume up. So now that track's kind of finished as an idea, you can then bring in some vocalists and add some stuff around that. But also what you can do is really cool. You can go to save, export, and I can now export that as a MP3, as a WAV file, give it to my friend. They can then take it to their studio, put some melodies, or you can email it, and then you can just move your tracks very efficiently from ideas that you have. And again, to have the flexibility to go from standalone mode into a control mode and move your instruments around is really powerful. This really does take the art of beat production, track creation to a whole new level. And when you look at the MPC X with all of these features, it's a product that really appeals to any type of genre who's making music. We can go from the hip hop, from trap to future bass to electronic, deep house, all the genres, because of all these features, from audio tracks, clip launching, time stretching. It really is the sky's the limit. So that was the overview of the MPC X. I'm here at Gear for Music at the studios, and if you want more information about the MPC X, please visit Gear for Music's website, or you can go to the Akai Pro website and you'll have all the information available. And again, thanks for watching, and see you next time.